A member of the SBS, the British Special Boat Service, is among 3 Britons who have been killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza. John Chapman, a former Royal Marine, had joined the elite SBS based in Poole before going on to work as a private security contractor with the Poole-based company Solace Global. We understand he was one of 3 security contractors, all 3 Brit security contractors working for the World Central Kitchen. Chapman, who was 57, had served for many years in the Poole-based SBS regiment. Former comrades described him as a very well-liked, popular operator who had made the transition from serving his country to working as a private security contractor. One of the other Brits has been named as James Henderson, who was 33, also a former Royal Marine. The 3rd British national, we understand, was a former soldier in the British Army. He is yet to be named. They were working for a private security contractor, a UK-based firm which was providing security to aid workers from the World Central Kitchen, an American charity which was providing much-needed humanitarian food aid to try and avert a looming famine in the Gaza Strip. Their vehicles were hit by a series of missile strikes, Israeli missile strikes. We understand some people in the vehicles managed to escape, but 7 of the passengers were killed. That includes 3 Britons, a Polish national, an Australian national, a joint US-Canadian citizen, and a Palestinian driver as well. Photos of the wreckage show the devastation of the burnt-out cars. One particularly powerful image shows the hole in a vehicle's roof next to the sticker on the roof of the vehicle identifying it as belonging to the World Central Kitchen, as I say, an American charity providing food aid. These strikes have caused outrage around the world, with Britain's Foreign Secretary holding urgent talks with his Israeli counterpart, demanding changes and an explanation to ensure that aid workers in the Gaza Strip are safe from these kinds of strikes. We've also seen Australia's Prime Minister condemning the attack as unacceptable.
Shocked and saddened to hear the reported deaths of aid workers in Gaza. We're urgently working to confirm all the details, but my thoughts right now with their friends and family. They're doing fantastic work bringing alleviation to the suffering that many are experiencing in Gaza. They should be praised and commended for what they're doing. They need to be allowed to do that work unhindered, and it's incumbent on Israel to make sure that they can do that, and we're asking Israel to investigate what happened urgently, because clearly there are questions that need to be answered. Our view is long-standing that Israel has both the intention and the ability to comply with international humanitarian law. I've made that very clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Whenever I've spoken to him, there have been too many civilian deaths in Gaza. Of course, we want to see an immediate humanitarian pause so that we can get the hostages out and more aid into the region.
Aid workers and those doing humanitarian work, and indeed all innocent civilians, need to be provided with protection. Australia has had a very clear position of supporting a sustainable ceasefire, of calling for it for some period of time, of calling for humanitarian aid to go to the people of Gaza who are suffering from this deprivation, to make sure that hostages are released as well. The truth is that this is beyond any reasonable circumstance that someone going about providing aid and humanitarian assistance should lose their life. And there were 4 aid workers as well as a Palestinian driver in this vehicle. This is a human tragedy that should never have occurred, that is completely unacceptable. I didn't have the honour of knowing her, but the sort of values that are shown by someone going into a very dangerous place in order to assist mankind, their fellow humans, people who she didn't know, she just wanted to help out through this charity. It says everything about the character of this young woman. And so this is a tragedy, and my sincere condolences and that of the Australian government go to Zomi's family, to her friends and all who knew her.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this strike was a tragic case of his forces unintentionally hitting people in the Gaza Strip.
לצערנו ביממה האחרונה היה מקרה טרגי של פגיעה לא מכוונת של כוחותינו באנשים חפים מפשע ברצועת עזה. זה קורה במלחמה, אנחנו בודקים את זה עד תום, עומדים בקשר עם הממשלות ונעשה הכל כדי שהדבר הזה לא יישנה שוב.
Last night, an incident took place in Gaza that resulted in the tragic death of World Central Kitchen employees as they fulfilled their vital mission of bringing food to people in need. As a professional military committed to international law, we are committed to examining our operations thoroughly and transparently. I just spoke to WCK founder, Chef Jose Anders, and expressed the deepest condolences of Israel Defense Forces to the families and the entire World Central Kitchen family. We also express sincere sorrow to our allied nations who have been doing and continue to do so much to assist those in need. We have been reviewing the incident in the highest levels to understand the circumstances of what happened and how it happened. We will be opening a probe to examine this serious incident further. This will help us reduce the risk of such an event from occurring again. The incident will be investigated in the fact-finding and assessment mechanism, an independent professional and expert body.
But the World Central Kitchen has said that they had been coordinating with the Israeli Defense Forces to deconflict, to let Israel know where their aid workers were, where their vehicles were and where they were going to avoid precisely this kind of accidental strike.
So the death of 7 aid workers in what appears to be just a terrible accident, an error. You know, the Israelis are saying, you know, they're saying they're going to investigate it very carefully. It feels as though just an error has been made, and of course, it's one of the tragedies of war that good, honest, innocent people, aid workers, and others get killed in the margins of war. Incredibly sad that has happened. Here's an organisation that the Gazan people need desperately, aid agencies like that to help them, and those aid workers are there trying to only do good, and they get caught up in the fighting. In this case, have appeared to have paid with their lives. Very, very sad, and just really makes Israel's life so much harder, because every time they're trying to say, you know, we're very careful with how we do things, vignettes like this play against them inevitably.